pop at all. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is day 3. We are at Muscle Machining again. Came yesterday and just went over everything in the motor. Took the pan off, took the front cover off, checked the oil pump, went over everything. Oil pump looked good. There was no metal in any of that stuff. What we ended up finding was the pickup tube, which you'll see. The pickup tube was too far away from the bottom of the pan, so it actually needed like 2-3 quarts before it would even start picking up oil. So upper RPMs, oil getting trapped top of the motor, stuff like that, it didn't have enough oil in the pan. And when we were adding oil, the level was then too high and it was above the windage tray, so we were actually causing 2 different issues there. Went over the metal stuff with John. He's the machinist here, he owns the building, and he wasn't concerned at all with the metal, and I was concerned because every time I built a motor, there's never any metal in it, so I've never dealt with that. He says every time he's used a clear view, it freaks everybody out because it shows you every little thing. So I cleaned it again. We made a couple pulls last night just to make sure everything was okay. No like full power pulls, just making sure oil pressure is staying stable and the oil pressure issue is fixed. So up to 6,600 RPM or so, oil pressure 68, 70 PSI. All right, now that I got this apart, I can kind of, some of you guys were commenting and I was trying to explain the way the oil circuitry works on these blocks. So the oil pump bolts to the block. That little raised hump right there is where the oil actually outputs from the pump. It goes out of the pump into this line. There's no journal that runs down the side of the block like a factory block. So it comes out of there, right into the clear view, which is where we're getting some metal, then to the oil filter, then back to the block. So that's why I wanted to check that first. Don't mind my hat. I just knocked it off just to see. So I'm gonna pull the cover off the pump real quick and check over that. The keyway wasn't smashed into the pump or anything like that, so hopefully, I kind of hope that's the issue, but if it's not, we're going to continue further and see what's going on. Took everything apart, checked over everything. There was nothing in the pan, just little bits of some trash, nothing like super metal, nothing would stick to a magnet, just little bits and pieces of stuff. There was some black stuff in there, and I know these diamond pistons are known for the coating to come off, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. But what we ended up finding was the pickup tube was actually 1 inch off the bottom of the oil pan. So we modified it and got another, this motor has 1/2 inch main studs in it, so we used one from a big block Chevy that was a little bit longer, moved the pickup down, so it's now 3/8 off the bottom, so it should pick up a lot. That's like 2 quarts minimum of the oil pan, just so that it can keep the pickup tube under oil. So everything's back together, clean the oil pan, clean everything else, and it's ready to go. So we're gonna start it up and see how it does, see if that fixed our issue.
Heavier. That's tiny now. Did you take any? Did you command a different fuel, or did you? I made it a little bit. Leave it out a little bit, gave it some timing.
just trying to figure out air fuel, what it likes. I started pulling timing, it started picking up. I pull a little bit more, it would lose down low, put a little bit in it down low, and it was just being wonky. The last pull before the one we just did, I was looking at my data log, and when I was working the dyno, as soon as I saw 6400, I was pulling it back, and I can see on the laptop via TPS, I was lifting on my ECU at 7800. So we went in and looked at the calculation for pulses and noticed it was at 60, should have been at 58. So we moved it to 58, and it picked up a lot more power and actually carried the RPM in the range I expected it to be at. So now I'm going to play with it a little bit more. We don't have a lot of time tonight. I may come back tomorrow and play with it a little bit more, but the last pull it made 640 horsepower. I forget the torque number, but it's 640 horsepower at 7100, which is kind of where I was hoping peak would be around 73, 7400. So I'm going to play with timing a little bit, see if I can get it to carry over a little bit more.
Picked up a little bit up top. Stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, that helped for sure.
Stretch it out a little bit longer.
All right, guys, let's see. Let's see if we broke that 650 mark. That was my goal, was 650 horsepower for a 9.8, 9.5, 9.8 to 1 turbo motor. That ain't bad. Oh man, we were close. 644.
7,200.
Yeah, it's peaking. Yeah, peaked horsepower at 7,400, which is exactly where I was kind of hoping it would be.
644.
So we can actually richen it up just a touch, see if we can get it to carry a little bit better.
644. Yeah, because we're down to 0.9 on the.
Yeah, we need to richen it up just a touch. Maybe throw a degree at it and see if it helps. All right, guys, I added a degree to 2 degrees down low where we were before, and a degree on top, and about half a point of fuel. Exactly the same.
Maybe a tickle more, but nothing.
It is a little bit warmer, but
maybe a tickle more. That tickle might be what you need.
Tickle? I don't know. It looked like it went under that line. $6.46. Picked up a tickle. That was it. It was about the same air fuel. Maybe we'll throw a little bit more.
The torque was slightly higher.
Just a bit.
And man, that's getting there.
Yeah.
71, 72, same type of RPM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did it come down as fast?
You got to move it over.
Yeah.
This is the overlay from the run before that.
It was actually a touch better on the downside of it. It was better until it was better, and then it dropped off faster this time than the time before.
Okay. So maybe take that timing out of it up there.
What's your fuel like?
Or give it a little more fuel. Alright guys, I got busy and forgot to film an outro for that video. You guys saw the best numbers it made that day were 646 horsepower at 7,200 or something like that. That's going to do it for that video. So I will announce the winner of whoever guessed the closest to the horsepower. You'll get your free t-shirt in the next video. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't, go over, check out nkpcalibrations.com, pick you up a t-shirt, anything to support the channel. That way we can keep building sick turbo motors and get this truck done so we can get it out of the track. All right, guys. See you.